winning a state championship even if your team lost.
It was a very difficult decision.
The playoff free-for-all for high schoolers. Plus, it's been 70 years since the last time this then 17-year-old Oklahoma farm boy was on American soil.
We even have some of his letters that he sent to his mother and asked for the Medill record to be sent to him.
But tonight, he's home for good after 7 decades trapped in North Korea.
It's just nice to know they have a chance.
You're watching Oklahoma's News 4 at 10.
But we begin with Oklahoma facing the surge.
A new plan activated to combat growing cases of coronavirus as the sun sets on yet another record-shattering number of hospitalizations. Right now, 870 Oklahomans are in the hospital being treated for a confirmed or suspected case of COVID-19.
That number up 49 from yesterday's record breaker. Meanwhile, 1,400 new cases of COVID-19 reported, while 18 more Oklahomans have died from it. More than 93,000 have recovered.
But tonight, what are they doing to weather the storm? News 4's Taylor Adams joins us now live from St. Anthony Hospital in Taylor. The plan involves a tier system, and it's based on just how bad things get.
Right, Joleen, 4 different tiers, and right now the entire state is just in Tier 1. But if cases continue to rise, hospitals could be forced to make some tough decisions.
We're seeing an uptick in our hospital counts across the state.
Oklahoma's hospitals breaking records as cases of COVID-19 continue to climb. On Monday, Oklahoma saw a new high of 821 COVID-19 patients in the hospital. That record broken again just 24 hours later when hospitalizations reached 870.
I want you to know we have the hospital beds, we have the capacity, we have the workers available to take care of COVID and non-COVID patients.
The rising numbers sparking a new surge plan to divide the state into regions and assign a tier based on capacity. Tier 1 is where the entire state currently sits, meaning less than 15% of hospital patients are COVID patients.
Tier level 2 is when our COVID admissions in hospitals get between 15 and 19% of total med-surg and ICU beds.
In Tier 2, hospitals could begin to move recovering patients to different facilities and call on help from the Medical Reserve Corps. If hospitals reach more than 20% capacity, Tier 3 is activated and elective surgeries are eliminated.
Level 4, and let's hope we never get there, is when our admissions are greater than 40% and we have reached our capacity.
Level 4, the state's most dire tier, means only emergency surgeries will be performed. Governor Stitt reminding Oklahomans it's a statewide effort to keep the numbers down.
We need to continue to take this very seriously.
As far as specifics on each tier's plan, we're told the details are still being worked out and that a full plan will be released once it's completed. However, we haven't been given any kind of timeline on when that might be. Taylor Adams, Oklahoma's News 4.
All right, Taylor, thank you. And from hospitals to high school sports, all football teams will qualify for the playoffs no matter their record. That's according to the Oklahoma Secondary School Activities Association, the group that oversees high school sports. They're shaking things up in the wake of COVID-19. News 4's Austin Breasette is on the story tonight. And Austin, they say they didn't really have a choice here.
Well, Kevin, it's been about 25 to 28 game cancellations per week since district play started, and that's according to the OSSAA. And now the entire playoff landscape has changed.
It was a very difficult decision.
The Oklahoma Secondary School Activities Association laying out the landscape for high school playoffs, and it's much different from the norm. Every team in the state now has a shot at the championship.
This is a once-in-a-lifetime scenario, I hope.
With dozens of district game cancellations and no chance to make them all up, the OSSAA putting a new plan in play.
So we settled on a play-in round.
One round. Teams match up and go at it to see who makes it into their class's bracket.
We will have a bracket that will have places on it for all the teams in each district. And then we will allow each school to decide whether they want to opt out or not.
I think it's a good thing overall.
And coaches in the state like Brett Bogert at Heritage Hall are all on board.
It's really, giving a bunch of teams the opportunity that they might not otherwise have.
Different matchup seeding and ranking rules for teams depending on if you have missed games, slight date changes to championships, and even the option to play or not, also a part of the plan. But if you get in the playoffs and have COVID issues,
that team will be eliminated from the series.
Meaning, even if you lost to that team in the prior round, you can take their place if they're unable to play. Bogert saying it's different, but at least they're playing ball with an added chance at winning a title.
A group of seniors is going to get one last game. The 2020 team is going to get, at a bare minimum, if they want to do it, get at least one more, time to go out there on a Friday night together. And that's, in the grand scheme of things, that's what it's really all about.
Well, the OSSAA is also allowing any teams that get eliminated from the playoffs to make up any missed or canceled games due to COVID-19 issues. Now, that's allowed week to week up to the date of their class's state championship game. At the OSSAA, Austin Breasette, Oklahoma's News 4.
Now, first weather from the Forewarned Storm Team.
Our temperatures jumped this afternoon here in Oklahoma City, made the upper 70s when sunshine came back out. A lot going on in the Oklahoma weather picture tonight. We're going to check into this and take a look at your latest forecast. All these cold fronts coming in and opportunities of freezing temperatures, even some sleet and snow. Not too far down the road right now, mostly cloudy skies in Oklahoma City. Upper 60s in Moore and Norman to 55 in Okarche and Kingfisher, and Watonga has 54. There's a stationary front, cool and warm right across the southern sides of the metro right now. Skies are cloudy in northern Oklahoma, mostly clear. In the southern parts of our state, showers continue to form tonight. Up in northeastern Oklahoma, Bartlesville up toward Nowata and Veneta and Tulsa and Skiatook. Back down to just about Keystone Lake. There's Oklahoma City right there. Most of these will stay up in northeastern Oklahoma tonight. Tracking warm and even muggy temperatures coming up. Yes, summertime, but two big-time cold fronts. The first front is early Friday, the second front, second half of the weekend. So much to talk about, including rain and even sleet and snow for some and freezing temperatures, guys, coming up.
Going on there tonight. Thank you, Mike. Archaeologists have unearthed one, possibly two bodies in the ongoing search for Tulsa race massacre victims. While it's still too soon to know if the remains are connected to that bloodshed from 99 years ago, it is the first time remains have been found during the years-long search. Now, these remains were found in a splintered wooden coffin about 3 feet deep next to a temporary grave marker. The discovery comes just one day after a team of experts resumed the excavation. They're searching in an area of the Oak Lawn Cemetery known as the Original 18. Funeral home records and other documents indicate that at least 18 identified and unidentified victims have been buried there. The cemetery is in the Greenwood district, formerly known as Black Wall Street, back in 1921. That's when a mob of white rioters stormed the district, murdering an estimated 300 people in cold blood simply because they were black. The white mob also set fire to more than 1,000 homes, burning Black Wall Street to the ground. To this day, no one has ever been arrested in the horrific crime, and survivors have also never seen a dime from it. A lawsuit seeking reparations was filed against the city back in September.
It is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and tonight we want to shed some light on screening tools for women. More and more doctors believe a simple mammogram may not be enough to find many breast cancers. Here's Allie Meyer with more information on when you should ask for another test.
Annual screening mammogram has always been the best first line of defense. Annual screening mammogram is how I discovered breast cancer on my very first baseline mammogram at 40 years old. But did you know, for some women, breast cancer is hiding inside dense breast tissue, and even a mammogram cannot see it.
Christy Kirkshore started screening mammograms early, in her 20s. Year after year, her mammogram reports came back negative. But because of a family history of other types of cancer, Kirkshore's opted for more specialized breast cancer screening in her 40s.
I believe that I am alive today because of God's grace.
At 50 years old, the mammogram missed her cancer. It was found on screening MRI.
The MRI identified a 2.8 centimeter stage 2 grade 3 breast tumor. At the time of my diagnosis, I wasn't having any symptoms. I had no lumps. I was stunned and scared.
Half of women have dense breast tissue, and for them, mammogram may not be enough.
If you have dense breast tissue, the odds of the cancer being missed on mammography start going up dramatically.
A radiologist determines breast density. Level A is about 10% of women. 40% of women are considered level B. Level C, another 40% of women where the majority of the breast tissue is dense. And level D, another 10% are highly dense. Dr. Alan Hollingsworth is an Oklahoma City surgeon and published breast cancer researcher, one of the first to focus on cancers missed by mammogram. He hopes his work will someday contribute to a blood test to determine who needs more than a mammogram.
The probability there's a cancer right now, hidden on your mammography, you don't see it, but it will be seen on MRI.
MRI has long been a go-to for cancer detection, but it's expensive, uncomfortable, and often not covered by insurance.
I see that machine find cancers earlier and more reliably than mammography. It would be very rare to have an advanced cancer if you're getting MRIs. And to see what its potential is, we don't need any more technology breakthroughs. It's a matter of we need to know who to put on that machine.
Hollingsworth has spent 30 years developing a protocol for which patients need more than a mammogram.
We browbeat the American public into believing that mammograms are it.
Today, mammograms are part of the solution. Breast ultrasound is even more precise. Breast MRI is proven to detect the smallest cancers at the earliest stage.
I would just urge women to get those MRIs, to get those mammograms, to be assertive and find a great doctor because a slight inconvenience today can give you many more and brighter tomorrows, and it's a great feeling to know that you're doing all you can to fight cancer.
The first step is knowing your breast density. In Oklahoma, your density level will be listed at the bottom of your mammogram report. It's the law. If you're level C or level D, consider asking for a breast ultrasound or breast MRI. Allie Meyer, Oklahoma's News 4.
And as Allie was just telling us, it is the law. A few years ago, the Oklahoma legislature passed a state law requiring women to be notified and counseled about their breast density as part of their mammogram report. When you get your letter, check the bottom. If you've got questions about your density or your screening options, talk to your doctor.
Next in weather.
So Oklahoma is now 11 days away from Halloween, but many Oklahomans between now and Halloween have an opportunity of sleet and snow, and who will see some freezing temperatures? That's coming up.
And an American hero back home in the heartland. A soldier's story coming up next.